This is the video lesson for pre-algebra, section 6.4, fractions, decimals, and percents. The objectives of this lesson are to write percents as fractions and decimals, and then to also be able to write decimals and fractions as percents. So, first a vocabulary word, percent. Percent is a ratio that compares a number to 100. So in the first example, we're going to actually show how this is written, right? It says, write each percent as a fraction or a mixed number. 5%, that means, right, a percent is a ratio that compares a number to 100. So this is just saying 5 divided by 100. Right, remember, you can write a ratio as a fraction, right? It says write it as a fraction. And then for this one, it's 125%, so it's 125 divided by 100. And to write this as a mixed number, right, 100 goes into 125 one time, and then we're left with 25. Right. Okay. Oh, sorry. You know what we need to do is we write it as a fraction, but we want to reduce the fraction to the simplified fraction. Right. So 5. Let's go back to A. 5 divided by 100. Right. Is 5 divided by 100, but you can simplify that fraction. Right. 5 goes into 100 evenly. Right. So you can divide the top by 5 and divide the bottom by 5. So this becomes 1 over 20, because 5 divided by 5 is 1. 100 divided by 5 is 20. So this is actually 1 over 20. Okay, and so the same thing's going to happen here. We have 1 and 25 over 100. This is going to 25. You can divide, actually 25 goes into 100 evenly. So you can divide that by 25. You can divide that by 25. 25 divided by 25 is 1. 100 divided by 25 is 4. So this is 1 and 1/4. That's the mixed number for that. Okay, so 5% is the same as 1/20th. And 125% is the same as 1 and 1/4. Okay, so try C, D, and E on your own. Write it as a fraction or a mixed number. So start right divided by 100 and then simplify your fraction. Push pause to do this and then check back for the answers. Okay, so for C, you should have gotten 29 over 50. For D, you should have gotten 18 over 25. And then for E, you should have got 1 and 11/25. So please push pause and check your work. Let me know if you have any questions on that. So let's move on to example 2. This is a word problem. The California Valley quail population in California increases about 1.5% each year. Write 1.5% as a decimal. Okay, so 1.5% is the same as 1.5 divided by 100. You just put that in your calculator, right? And it'll give you a decimal. 1.5 divided by 100 equals 0.015. Okay, so there's there's actually an easier way than using your calculator, right? So in order to, you're basically just dividing the percent, the number in the percent by 100. When you divide by 100, you can just move the decimal place 2 spaces. Okay, so in this case we have, and here this is method 1, calculator. Okay, method 2. I do prefer method 2, but you know, it is easy to throw into the calculator. 1.5. Now, we could just move the decimal place 2 places to the left. So take this guy, go 1, put it here. That's 1 place, and then you need to move it 1 more place. But nothing's here, right? You can just put in a little 0. Put your decimal place right there. So the answer is 0.015. All right, and so you can do that too. I'll do 1A with you also, even though that's a star. Right, you're just going to write 62.5% as a decimal. Right, you can just take your decimal, move it 1, move it 2, put it there. It's just 0.625. Okay, and you can check that in your calculator, right? 62.5 divided by 100 is 0.625. Okay, so do B on your own. Push pause, try that one on your own, and then check back for the answer. Okay, so as a decimal, right, you can just move the decimal place 2 spots to the left and get 0.45. As a fraction, you can just divide 45 by 5 and 100 by 5, and you get 9 over 20. Okay, so now we're going to go from decimals to percents. And then again, this is, there are two different methods for this. Okay, this is basically backwards of how we did before. Method 1, we're going to rewrite as a fraction. Okay, so write 0.333 as a percent, right? This means we have 333 divided by, right, there are 0, 0, 0, this is 1,000. Okay, but we want over 100. Right, so we can, when we just divide by 10 on both sides, right, to get to be 100. Divide by 10 just means move it over 1. So 33.3, and this is 100. So this is 33.3%. I don't like that way. This way's better, but maybe you do. This way, you just take your decimal, and then you move the decimal place the other way, right? Before, when we were going from percent to decimal, we were going 2 places this way. Now we're going to do it backwards. We're going to go 2 places this way. So just move the decimal place 2 ways. This is 33.3%. Okay, so try these 3 on your own. 0.4, 0.023, and 1.75. Write each decimal as a percent. Push pause. Check back for the answer. Okay, so you have 40%, 2.3%, and 175%. Okay, and then we have our last example is a word problem. 5 out of 16 families in the U.S. own dogs. What percent of families own dogs? Well, let's write that. 5 out of 16 families own dogs. What percent of families own dogs? Okay, so we need to figure out what this is over 100, right? Because we're the percent is going to be a ratio that compares it to 100. So let's make that x. We want to solve for x here. We can do our cross multiplying. 16x equals 500. We can divide both sides by 16, and we get 500 divided by 16 is 31.25. So 31.25% of families own dogs. All right, so see how that works? We're going to set up a proportion, because remember, a percent is a number that is compared to 100. So what divided by 100 equals 5 over 16? 31.25. So try that on your on the red star. 3 out of 11 families in the U.S. own cats. What percent of families own cats? So push pause and try that one on your own, and then check back for the answer. Okay, so hopefully you got something like 27.3% for the percent of families who own cats. And we're done.